Good evening, everyone. Welcome to First Church of Religious Science. It's wonderful to have you all with us this evening. For those of you who are signing in now on any of our social media platforms, especially those of you here on Zoom, again, welcome to our Thursday evening self-healing class based upon the book You Can Heal Your Life. This is a place where Louise Hay herself learned to be a practitioner of New Thought. We gather every Thursday at 7 for this particular self-healing group. We also meet on Wednesdays for our Creative Living series that Jimmy hosts. We have the same Zoom link for Wednesday, Thursday, and for Sunday morning at 10:45. We meet every week. Whenever we gather, we're sharing tools, methods, and ways for you to heal your life. That's the name of Louise Hay's famous book, You Can Heal Your Life. And she was teaching religious science principles. To teach you self-healing as presented by people like Louise Hay, and many of you know that she was a practitioner here, and that's what our goal is, to keep presenting the ideas, her teaching, our teaching, to show you how to do it. First Church has taught a lot of wonderful students over the years. Nobody, though, was any more influential than Louise, who she became quite famous. She started the Hay House Publishing Company, which eclipsed the whole movement in terms of its the good work it did. So her book, You Can Heal Your Life, transformed the lives of millions and millions of people. Most of you tune in every week to be reminded of her and what she taught, or Raymond Charles Barker, or the science of mind. Each week, we try to create an experience reminiscent of the intimate and engaging Louise Hay self-healing classes that I was a part of the year after her book, You Can Heal Your Life, first came out. So our gatherings are always designed to be intimate. They're designed for you to be reminded of the truth of your being, to be reminded of how great you are, to be reminded that you can heal your life. Tonight, we have a special lesson, which is entitled Awakening Your Inner Radiance, Your Inner Beauty, and awakening it through the joy of self-discovery. So let's go on this journey together to uncover the beauty that's within you. Let's do it to embrace the joy that comes from truly knowing who we are and loving ourselves. Louise wrote, "The act of self-discovery is the path to a joyful life." Now that's a simple statement, but it carries a very deep meaning. So I want to take a look at it with you. When Louise Hay talks about self-discovery, she isn't just referring to knowing what you like or what you dislike, or knowing yourself a little bit better. What she's talking about, the act of discovering the self, the idea that you are one, the self with a capital S, the act of discovering who you are, meaning you are a spiritual being, you're one with the one. The act of discovering that is the path to a joyful and terrific, successful life. So this statement is simple, but what it really is a call is to wake up to your spiritual magnificence. So let's see that sentence that way. When she's talking about self-discovery, she's talking about you waking up to realizing that you're connected with Source. Louise was a well-trained practitioner of religious science, and she was deeply versed in the principles of New Thought and metaphysics. When she spoke again of self-discovery, she's talking about the discovery of self within herself. You know, the self with a capital S. So I think I've explained it. The self with a capital S refers to our true divine nature. So we want to awaken to that. If you're new to the group today, I want you to awaken to the idea of how great you are, that you are an individualization of the thing itself, as Ernest Holmes would call it. And I want you to awaken to the idea that you are one with it. You are one with the one. You're one with everyone else as well. So we're all in this together. Each of us are individualizations of this divine activity. We don't have to look to the heavens. We don't have to look far above. We don't have to look outside of ourselves. You're standing or sitting, as it will, on what we'll call holy ground. You are an inlet and outlet of this activity, this spiritual activity, and how great that is to wake up and understand that. So it is the essence of who we are, beyond the roles we play, beyond our achievements, our day-to-day activities, beyond our physical form. It's the part of us that's connected to the infinite, the part of us that is part of universal spirit, the source of all life. When Louise encourages us to engage in the act of self-discovery, again, she's inviting us to explore our deeper nature and connect with this spirit within, this spiritual aspect of our lives. Now, this idea of self-discovery is not new. It echoes the ancient wisdom inscribed in the temple of Apollo at Delphi in Greece, where inscribed on the wall is, "Know yourself, know thyself." Socrates, the classical Greek philosopher, emphasized this maxim as a fundamental principle of life. He believed that true wisdom comes from knowing oneself, understanding one's own nature, and recognizing our intrinsic connection to the greater cosmos, the greater order. So know yourself and realize who you are, and know that you're one with the one. And recognize, again, your intrinsic connection to Source, to God. Know that deep in the center of your being, there is this thing, this infinite well of love, light, knowledge, wisdom. Socrates taught that by turning our gaze inward and examining our thoughts, motivations, and beliefs, we will uncover deeper truths about our existence and our purpose. The Temple of Apollo was dedicated to the god of prophecy, healing, and truth, and it serves as a historical testament to the enduring significance of self-discovery, of knowing who you are and what you are. The inscription, once again, "Know thyself," urges us to pause, to seek inner knowledge and wisdom deep at the center of your being. Go there and know that you will find a pathway to a fulfilled and enlightened life. The more we look outside, the more we'll be running around in circles. People have been looking outside themselves throughout history. The sages of old, the wise and the wonderful, the practitioners have always realized that we live in it, we move in it, we have our being in it. Now, you'll hear me repeat most every week here from Louise Hay's book, deep at the center of my being is this infinite activity, this well of love, this divine activity. In the context of our teaching, this self-discovery aligns with the understanding and embracing that there is this inner activity, and each of us have access to it. In our gathering this evening, like every week, we aim to help everybody realize how incredibly wonderful and powerful you are. You have access to all the knowledge that you'll ever need, power. Everything you need is available to you. We encourage you to start practicing the presence, to become mindful of the fact that you're on a spiritual journey, and to realize that you are the most important person in this journey. So there's nobody nicer to be nicer to than you being nice to you. So we want to remember that. We want to stop the critical thinking. Never, never, never criticize yourself. Let's begin by asking this evening, is there something that you've discovered about yourself this week? Anything new that's come from practicing the teaching? What has it been like being you? I ask that question most weeks. Have you discovered anything this week that's brought you a smile or brought you some joy? It's good to build on the things that bring us happiness. Is there something that comes to mind that makes you happy? Because we want to build on those things. It's the same with the idea of gratitude. We teach her that gratitude is causative. So, we also teach, if you remember to be grateful more often, it will help you change a lot of things around in your life. I've been presenting Louise Hay material and principles since the late 1980s, during the time when a lot of people were dealing with cancers and AIDS in particular. And the book, You Can Heal Your Life, actually drew me to the ministry, drew me to the study of the science of mind. And it inspired me to keep presenting these workshops week after week, year after year, workshops on self-love and self-healing. This approach, what Louise Hay called the positive approach, can open up your world, can change your life. If you keep practicing the presence, keep seeing the good, if that's your commitment, you're going to have opportunities that will present themselves to you. You'll have greater happiness, greater health. Everything becomes attainable. The conversation that you're having with yourself, as you hear me say week after week, sets the tone for your life. So it's really an important conversation. It's the reason I ask the question every week, what has it been like being you? This conversation you have with yourself is very creative. And I ask you always to notice. And if you're being negative, then start doing some self-correction. Louise Hay asked, what's the conversation like in your mind? That sounds very similar to the question I ask every week. She believed that we're constantly having a dialogue with ourselves and suggested it's important to make it a loving and supportive dialogue. Imagine for a moment your inner dialogue. Imagine the dialogue you're having right now or you've been having today. Are your words mostly kind? Are they encouraging? Are they uplifting? As you think of your inner dialogue, are you generally a person who sees the good? Are you a lifter? Or do you find yourself always caught up in worry, caught up in a web of criticism, fear, fearful thinking, self-doubt, critical thoughts about other people? I know we talk about this most every week, so I guess I'll ask the question, are you up for a challenge? Because you've heard the question many times, those of you who come often. Can you accept the challenge that to change your dialogue around and make it be more positive? To take the more positive approach? We talk about consciousness and we talk about living as a practitioner. We talk about practicing the teaching. Well, you can say it that way. Are you committed to practicing the teaching? Are you committed to practicing the good? Are you committed to understanding that every encounter is a holy encounter? Are you committed to seeing the fact that you as a spiritual being are encountering another spiritual being, and every time you interact with another being, it's you as an aspect of the divine interacting with another person who is an aspect of the divine as well? Are you committed to running your life that way, living your life that way? So that's the challenge. Are you up for it? Are you willing to take the teaching to a deeper level? See, we can listen to the teaching, we can listen to Louise Hay, and we can say, oh my God, it feels so good, it's very nurturing. But we can also take this teaching and we can take it to another level. We can actually practice. We can do the work. We can do the spiritual work. We can practice the presence. There's always a lot of work to do. You've heard me recently speak about Agatha. She's a practitioner. We call her Reverend Agatha, but she's actually a practitioner. And she reaches out to me through text messages and voice messages, and she's telling me, well into whatever age group she is now, that she's doing the work. And here's the thing, I'm doing the work, we're all doing the work. So as we learn to transform that inner dialogue, change it around, it's a profound act of self-love. As we learn to self-correct, we have within us what I'll call an internal guidance system, meaning we have spirit within, and we know when we're on the beam, and we know when we're on track, and we know also when we are not. So are you willing to transform this inner dialogue? Are you willing to recommit? Are you willing to commit to really working on this dialogue? And know, because you realize it's a profound act of self-love. It isn't about working with people outside of you and fixing them, I can promise you. That's always a failed endeavor. Raymond Charles Barker did a famous talk on how to change other people, and of course, in the end, you can't do it. So what we're always teaching people is, to work on yourself. When you really, really love yourself, Louise would say everything in your life will start to improve anyway. So let's take a moment to reflect. You might close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Think about a recent demonstration you've made, maybe something you've learned, some aha moment. Maybe you've discovered something about yourself. Could be a hidden talent, a newfound strength, or a deeper understanding of life or your desires. How has this enriched your life? Is there anything you can embrace right now that you've learned that's increased your self-awareness? If so, let's celebrate it. Louise said, when people start to discover themselves and realize how powerful their thoughts are, when people realize that they can change their thinking and change their lives, it's amazing how their lives get better. They feel better. They take better care of themselves, and their relationships improve. Consider this. What if you started your day with a ritual of self-discovery, or a ritual where you meditate on the idea that you, yes, you are an individualization of source of spiritual activity? What if you started your day out with some spiritual realization that I am as God created me? I am one with the one. What if you started out and meditated, or you simply calmed yourself down and realized that I am spirit. I am as spirit created me. I am amazing. What if you started out your day by realizing that you're whole and complete and absolutely wonderful? As you wake up, take a moment to journal or meditate about something new you learn about yourself. Could be as simple as recognizing a pattern in your thoughts or appreciating a unique quality you possess. When we embrace self-discovery, when we realize that we're one with the one, we create a foundation for healing. Our bodies respond to this. Our minds become more open. Our spirits soar. Discovery of ourself as a being connected with Source is not just a concept, it's a daily practice of exploring and cherishing ourselves. The language of self-love and the language of self-discovery is one of acceptance always, and forgiveness. Louise emphasized that self-acceptance and self-approval are the keys to all positive changes. She said, you have been criticizing yourself for years, and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. This profound statement invites us to consider a radical shift in our self-perception. Many of us have spent a lifetime entrenched in patterns of self-criticism, often believing that being hard on ourselves is the key to improvement. Yet despite all these efforts, the results are frustration, often stagnation, and a diminished sense of self-worth. As we get better, and in the recovery traditions we often hear, acceptance is the answer to all of my challenges today. This wisdom underscores the transformative power of self-acceptance and self-approval in the now. By embracing ourselves and our circumstances without any judgment, we open the door to true healing, compassion, and growth. Acceptance is never about resigning or being resigned. It's about acknowledging our reality and choosing to respond with intelligence and compassion. Imagine the courage it takes to stand before a mirror, seeing every flaw and imperfection, and still declaring, looking right into your eyes, I am enough, or saying, I approve of myself. This act of self-affirmation is profoundly liberating. Doing mirror work like this is a liberating exercise. I love, accept, and approve of you exactly as you are. So you could try doing that and see what that does. As you learn to do this, it allows you to break free from chains of self-criticism and move towards a life of self-approval and love. When we stop battling against ourselves, and that's who we're always battling with, when we start approving of who we are, we never criticize yourself. As we stop battling against ourselves, when we have that greater commitment to love ourselves and extend that love to others, we create a fertile ground for great positive change. Critical patterns that have been with us for a lifetime do not disappear overnight, but with consistent practice, we can transform our inner dialogue. I choose to make fun of it when I'm doing it. I just notice, what are you up to? Or there you go again, when I find myself doing it. Gently and lovingly, just bringing myself back. So it does require consistent practice. If you do the work, you will transform your inner dialogue and you will see the results in your life. Each moment of self-approval builds, it's like building a new foundation based on self-respect and self-love. Over time, and it doesn't necessarily mean a lot of time, but over time, this shift will lead to remarkable changes in how you experience life and interact with the world around you. Remember, it's an act of profound courage to look at ourselves with all our flaws and still say, I'm enough, and I love you. By doing this, we honor our journey, we embrace our humanity, and we step into a future filled with possibilities. The kingdom, if you want to call it a kingdom, is at hand. Life is responding to you. Every thought you think is creating your future. So please, never, ever criticize yourself for being where you are. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. You might just discover a life filled with greater peace, joy, and fulfillment. I'm sure you will. Forgiveness is another pillar of self-discovery. Forgiving ourselves for past mistakes, forgiving ourselves for present mistakes, forgiving ourselves for not being perfect children or brothers or sisters or uncles or aunts, forgiving ourselves for whatever we need to forgive ourselves, for all the ways we think that we have fallen short, forgive ourselves. As Louise often reminded us, forgiveness is for yourself because it frees you. It lets you out of that prison that you had put yourself in. Overcoming personal negativity is so important to our journey, our spiritual journey of self-discovery. Our internal dialogue plays a significant role in shaping our reality. You hear me say that all the time. Louise often reminds us it's only a thought you're having, and a thought can be changed. So if you've got a lot of negativity, it's helpful to realize, okay, there you go again, and this is just a thought you're having that you're saying over and over again. And it's a thought that can be changed. When we catch ourselves in negative self-talk, it's essential to find a way to pause and to reframe those thoughts. Here are some techniques to help you overcome negativity. Positive affirmations. Replace negative thoughts with positive affirmations. For example, if you find yourself thinking, I'm not good enough, counter it with, I am worthy and I'm capable of achieving my goals. I love myself, I am worthy, and I am capable. Write affirmations down and place them where you'll see them daily. Place them on your mirror, place them on your fridge, your workspace, your screen. Affirmations can be very powerful, especially to the extent you repeat them and you bring them into your being with passion. Practice gratitude. Focus on what you're grateful for. Keeping a gratitude journal will help you shift your focus from what's missing. If you tend to be negative, a gratitude journal is the most wonderful thing, and especially if you read it to yourself Not just write in it, but remind yourself every day of what you're grateful about. Each night, write down several things that you're grateful for. And then as you do it, feel the warmth and joy that gratitude brings. Meditate a little bit more often, or take a pause, practice where you can be a little bit more mindful, where you can become aware of your thoughts without judgment. This meditative moment, these pauses that are scattered throughout our day, wherever you do this, the awareness helps you detach from negative thoughts and choose the more empowering ones. You can imagine if you have a day where you're thinking negatively and it's just getting worse. If you can take a pause, if you can intentionally meditate and take a pause and know that deep at the center of your being, there is this connection to source, this infinite well of love. If you can just do that for a moment or two, it's enough to turn it around and have an affirmation or two and say, life loves me. I'm in the perfect place, the perfect time. It's important to take these pauses. So it's like having a little reset to turn this dialogue around. It's never too late to start your day over. Take a few moments like this each day to sit quietly, to breathe deeply, and to observe your thinking. Let go of judgment and simply be present. Surround yourself as best you can with positivity. Engage with positive people. Read uplifting books. Listen to motivational talks like ours that you can find on Facebook and YouTube. This will help you create an environment that supports your journey towards positivity. Consciously choose the people you spend time with as much as you can. Choose your influences wisely, for they shape your thoughts and your feelings. I was told by Dr. Bill years ago that we can live and commune with some of the greatest minds that have ever lived. And that was many years ago. Now we have things like YouTube, we have TED Talks. You can listen to our broadcast over and over again. You can listen to Louise Hay. You can listen to so many things. You don't have to traumatize yourself with the nightly news. A little bit of that goes a long way. So choose where you put your attention. Choose your influences wisely, for they will shape your thoughts and your feelings. Life is very short. You will find as we get older, we appreciate our lives more. Pay attention to where you put your time and your attention. Or as the lesson says, choose your influences wisely, for they shape your thoughts and feelings. In a similar way, when we let negative thoughts dominate us, we lose our focus on the truth. Because the truth of life is positive. The truth of life is about being whole and complete. And it's about health, and it's about abundance. It's about being supplied and supported. So when we lose our focus and we go the other way, it's too bad, because we don't have to do it that way. Guard your consciousness. It was Florence Scovel-Shinn, I believe, who said, be the guardian at the gate and bring your conversation up to a higher level. That just means shifting your attention from the negative to the positive, making a decision that you're just simply not going to go there. If you find yourself there, then, gently bring yourself back, like you would a friend. Say, okay, dear friend, we can shift it over here. Never, never, never criticize yourself for being in a spot like that, but just gently begin to do the work to bring your attention elsewhere. So guard your consciousness, be the guardian at the gate. As Emerson said, the genius is in taking the action. Don't delay addressing issues in your life. Take these steps, proactive steps, to handle challenges, and you'll find healing and empowerment. Louise Hay often said, it's only a thought you're having, and a thought can be changed. This means we have the power to change our lives by changing our thinking, being committed to it, though, not just occasionally. You can take this teaching to a very deep level by making a profound commitment with the most important person in the world, which is you. So we have the power to change our outcomes. We have the power to heal our lives. If you want to heal your life, then be willing to stop the negativity and invest in positive, loving thoughts. Make, say, a class like this the most important thing in your world, or whatever time or whatever other group you might go to, because belonging, being a part of it, listening to it, will pay big dividends for you. Loving yourself means appreciating all aspects of who you are, even the things that you think are less than wonderful. Louise described it as having a deep appreciation for who we are, accepting all of the parts of ourselves, our quirks, our foibles, and our embarrassments. Think of it this way. Imagine looking in the mirror and seeing yourself through the eyes of unconditional love. There you are. And see yourself through the eyes of unconditional love. Accept every part of you, your strengths, your quirks, your past mistakes. Know that each aspect of you contributes to the unique and wonderful person that you are today, the person that you have become. Conditional love can hinder our self-journey. Here are some examples of conditional love. I love you if you continually take care of me. I love you if you agree with me and do what I want. I love you if you don't disappoint me. I love you if you give me what I want. Louise taught us to move beyond all of this type of conditional love and begin to embrace unconditional love for ourselves and unconditionally love our friends as well. True love doesn't hinge on conditions or demands. It flows freely. It accepts people. It accepts ourselves. It nurtures without judgment. Many of us fall into the trap of seeking love and validation from other people, hoping to fill in a void within ourselves. We might think, if only this person loves me, I'll feel okay, I'll feel whole. Or if I can just make them happy, I'll be happy. But this approach is misguided, and it will lead to disappointment and frustration every time. Louise taught us that true love and security come from loving you, from loving ourselves. She said, you have to love yourself because no amount of love from other people is sufficient to fill you. No amount of love from other people will fill the yearning that your soul requires from you. So this is a big deal, learning to love ourselves. Trying to control others to meet our needs is a futile effort. It's like trying to grasp water with your hands. No matter how tightly you hold it, it's going to slip away. Instead, focus on nurturing your own heart. Focus on loving yourself and extending that. When you're filled with self-love, you radiate that love outward, I promise you. And it naturally attracts loving and supportive relationships into your life. Here are some concrete examples. Release control. Instead of trying to control someone's actions to feel secure, practice letting go. Let go of every person that you even are thinking of trying to control. Let them go. Trust that everyone is on their own path and focus on your journey. When you feel the urge to control anything or anyone, take a deep breath and remind yourself, I'm safe and I'm secure within myself. Next, we want to work on self-validation. We want to learn to validate our own feelings and our achievements. When you accomplish anything, something, no matter how small, take a quick moment to acknowledge and celebrate it. Say to yourself, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what I've done or what I've accomplished. We want to work on having good boundaries. We want to establish and maintain healthy boundaries. So know it's okay to say no to certain things that don't serve your highest good. Respecting yourself, loving your own boundaries is a powerful act of self-love. We're always working on self-compassion here. When you make a mistake, treat yourself with compassion. Instead of belittling yourself and calling yourself names, offer yourself kindness and understanding. Remember Louise Hay's words. She said, forgiveness is for yourself because it frees you. It lets you out of the prison, as I said before, that you put yourself in. When you really love yourself, you've all heard this one before, everything in your life begins to work. Your relationships improve. We attract all the good that in every area of our life. We become magnets for the good, for positivity. Louise was criticized in her lifetime for being too simplistic, but her approach was profound in its simplicity. At an event at the Asilomar, she received an honorary doctorate. I remember being there, and she didn't need to go. She had already achieved huge success, international success. But she went. Her humility brought her there, and her down-to-earth approach that made her teaching so accessible and transformative. Louise understood the simplicity of the law of mind and the law of attraction. She said, when people start to love themselves more each day, thought by thought, everything in their life begins to get better. Here are a few practical steps you can take to enhance your self-love. Nourish your body, improve your diet with whole foods, better foods, healthier foods. Think of each nutritious meal as a gift to your body, fueling yourself with vitality and energy. Move your body some more. Get exercise daily or regularly, not as a punishment, but as a celebration of what your body can do. Find some type of activity you enjoy, be it walking, dancing, swimming, whatever it might be. Feel the joy of movement and the strength it can bring you. Next, meditation, mindfulness, affirmative prayer. Spend some time doing that, taking those pauses each day, connecting with your inner self, putting some affirmations out there, put a demand on consciousness, and watch it all start to change. Affirmative prayer allows you to align with the positive energies of the universe. Spend some time in nature. Take walks in nature around the block even. Nature has a calming and rejuvenating effect on our spirit. And as you walk, always breathe deeply and observe the beauty around you and allow yourself to feel connected to the world. Let your walking, let the rhythm of your steps and the fresh air renew your spirit. A time for taking a pause, I mentioned, in self-reflection. Identify and address your blind spots and red flags. If you see yourself making mistakes, be honest with yourself about where you can grow. This awareness is a powerful step towards healing. We want to recognize our patterns and gently guide ourselves towards positive change. So let's close this Thursday session with an affirmative prayer. And I'll do it in the first person. I know that within me lies the power of love. I'm guided by this love, and I express it in every thought, word, and action. I release all negativity, and I embrace the truth of my being. I embrace the idea that I'm whole, perfect, and complete. As I love myself, I radiate this love to all those around me. Together, we create a world filled with peace, harmony, and joy. And so it is. Thank you all for joining this afternoon, this evening. If you're new, please say hello. We look forward to seeing you next week. So let's turn the cameras around. Let's see all of you. We have time to hear from everyone for a couple minutes. Respond to anything that comes up for you. Usually I ask the question, what has it been like being you? So you can be mindful of what your thoughts have been, but feel free to share about anything you'd like. Thank you.